Hello everyone. Welcome to Madrid Pulse. You got source of latest news, events, and everything happens in heart of Spain. The White Club strengthens with Huijsen, Arnold, and Carreras. Real Madrid has sent a resounding message to the football world with its first signings. The Club World Cup is a top priority. In a determined bid to strengthen its weakest line, the Whites have spent more than 100 million euros on defensive signings ahead of the international tournament, which kicks off on June 14th. But before continue, make sure you have already subscribed for getting more Real Madrid updates. Let's dive in. The club's first moves have been significant from a financial standpoint. Dean Huijsen from Bournemouth was the first after paying 58 million euros, while Benfica left-back Álvaro Carreras is on the verge of arriving for 50 million euros. These two signings are followed by a strategic move, the early signing of Trent Alexander-Arnold, whose contract with Liverpool was ending. Although he arrived on a free transfer, Real Madrid was forced to pay between 5 and 10 million euros in compensation to ensure his immediate incorporation on June 1st, thus allowing him to compete in the Club World Cup thanks to the special transfer window opened by FIFA. After a thorough reflection following a nearly blank season, except for the European Super Cup and the Intercontinental Cup, Real Madrid's sporting management has made it a priority to make signings to win the inaugural Club World Cup. Because in addition to the prestige that comes with lifting the trophy as the first champion in this new era, the tournament has a very powerful financial incentive, 130 million euros in prize money for the winner. The signings focus on a defensive line that has been severely impacted during the 2024-25 season. Despite long-term injuries to Carvajal and Militao, the club opted not to reinforce the defense in the winter transfer window and instead made do with what they had. However, recent injuries to Rudiger, Alaba, Mendy, and Camavinga have forced the club to react with significant investment. One of the biggest beneficiaries of this defensive overhaul is Xabi Alonso, who will make his debut as Madrid manager at the Club World Cup. The Basque coach will have a revamped defense, in contrast to the difficulties faced by Carlo Ancelotti, who juggled for much of the season, improvising solutions with midfielders or youth players due to a shortage of players. Xabi, meanwhile, will debut two fullbacks and a center-back. With this significant investment, Real Madrid is not only seeking to lift another trophy, but also to demonstrate that it remains a benchmark in world football, capable of responding strongly to adversity and maintaining its competitive aspirations in every tournament it competes in. Initial contacts have been made regarding a contract extension for the fullback. Arbeloa's presence at Castilla and Xabi's confidence ahead of the World Cup are key factors. His desire has always been to stay. Jesus Fortea's horizon is brightening. It's beginning to do so. It was never cloudy, because the player's desire has always been and remains to remain in the Whites, to extend the contract that binds him to the club until 2026. But the meeting, that first contact, hadn't taken place until now. In recent days, there has been a rapprochement between the Whites and the 18-year-old right-back. The goal is to lay the groundwork for a renewal that now is in the making. There's optimism between both parties, as The Athletic reported, and AS has been able to confirm, because the situation has changed in a short time, with words, but also with actions, or with plans, with Xabi Alonso's specifically. The Tolosara, as this newspaper reported, has in mind to count on Albal's player for the Club World Cup. He intends to take Fortea to the United States to test the positive reports he's received about the youth player. A situation identical to that experienced by Jesus last season, where after nearly being called up in November, he didn't count again for Ancelotti, not for Raúl. And this links to another factor, Álvaro Arbeloa's promotion to Castilla. Always one of Jesus's greatest supporters at La Fábrica, he was instrumental, even as a match to activate the mechanisms for his signing from Atleti in 2022. That arrival broke the famous pact. Under the coach's wing, he already excelled last season in the under-19 and has been a dagger rather than a fullback this time. In his previous renewal, in March 2024, a roadmap was already drawn up in which the first team's reserve team was scheduled for 2024 to 25. But the leap, after playing 6 games with the Team C and 31 with the Under-19, 5 goals, will come later. That's the idea. A cocktail that boosts the good rapport of the initial phase of negotiations. Because of the feeling that this season will indeed be one of progress. He will indeed begin to have importance at Castilla. And they understand that he will indeed be considered as an option at certain times with the senior players, such as those experienced with Carvajal's injury and the doubts surrounding Lucas. Connecting vessels, the jump to the reserve team and the growth of his stripes for the first team. Confidence, after having gone through difficult months, is the best balm to calm the existing rumblings and to reduce the calls coming in from abroad. Because Fortea's standby has led to quite a few clubs knocking on his door, for some time now. From Spain and abroad, all from the top 5 leagues. First team players, moreover, aware that the only way to convince a talent like the fullback to leave Madrid is with an attractive project. However, Fortea's mind is only blank, because it's his dream. It was, and still is. He already had other, much more powerful financial options when he was one of Atletico de Madrid's great jewels. Manchester City and Bayern Munich had superior offers to Real Madrid's, but the youngster only saw one option to leave the Atletico Academy. I was clear that I would only leave Atletico if it was for Madrid, those close to him assured. And so it was. Because of the Madrid fanaticism of Jesus, who signed his last contract with Levante wearing a Real Madrid shirt, the same one his idol Cristiano Ronaldo wore, the same one he yearns to wear at some point at the Bernabeu. Once the renewal is sealed, he'll be even closer. After nearly a decade associated with Real Madrid, Jesus Vallejo's time at the Spanish Giants has officially come to an end. The club confirmed his departure in a statement released this afternoon, marking the end of a chapter that, while not filled with on-pitch prominence, is adorned with an impressive collection of silverware. Vallejo becomes a free agent, free to negotiate with other clubs as he begins the next phase of his professional career. Vallejo, 27, joined Real Madrid in July 2015 after impressing as a youth prospect at Real Zaragoza, where he also made his professional debut. His initial arrival at the Santiago Bernabeu was greeted with optimism, as many saw in him the potential to become a future pillar in Madrid's defense. However, despite flashes of talent, a combination of injuries, stiff competition for places, and managerial preferences limited his impact on the pitch. During his tenure at Real Madrid, Vallejo found himself loaned out on several occasions. He spent time developing at clubs such as Eintracht Frankfurt in Germany's Bundesliga, Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Premier League, and Granada in La Liga. These stints allowed him to accumulate experience across different football cultures, although none of them led to a permanent move or a significant breakthrough at Madrid. Vallejo's actual involvement in Madrid's first team remained modest. This past season, he featured in just 4 La Liga matches, with 3 of those appearances coming late in the campaign, mostly when the club had already secured important objectives or was managing injuries within the squad. Despite multiple injuries to key defenders, Vallejo remained a peripheral figure, underscoring the coaching staff's reluctance to count on him regularly. Still, Vallejo leaves Real Madrid with a trophy cabinet that many footballers would envy. In total, he has won 13 major titles with the club, 2 UEFA Champions League trophies, 4 FIFA Club World Cups, 1 La Liga title, 1 Copa del Rey, 3 UEFA Super Cups, and 2 Spanish Super Cups. These accolades reflect not only the golden era that Madrid has enjoyed in recent years, but also Vallejo's fortune of being part of a world-class squad, even if mostly from the sidelines. In a farewell statement, Real Madrid expressed its gratitude to Vallejo. Real Madrid thanks Jesus Vallejo for his professionalism, commitment, and hard work, and wishes him and his family the best in this new stage of his life. Vallejo now faces an uncertain but potentially liberating future as a free agent. With his experience, age, and the pedigree of being part of one of the world's most successful clubs, he could prove to be an attractive option for teams across Europe looking to bolster their defensive depth. While his time at Real Madrid may not have unfolded as he once envisioned, Vallejo departs with his head held high, his medal collection a testament to perseverance and professionalism within one of football's most demanding institutions. What lies ahead remains to be seen, but Vallejo's next step could very well offer the regular playing time and stability he was never quite able to secure in Madrid.